Welcome back, folks, to the VHS Vault. I'm VHS Jace, and this is Jason Roy Gaston, deep in thought, ready to talk tonight about, well, a nice little suburban film of the 80s. And I think sometimes on this show, Jason, we need to go and take a look at life in the suburbs in the 80s. And we're doing that via a movie called The Gate.
Yes, I hear it's about an HOA. A dispute about a gate being off-white when it should have been white.
You are the first person in my, what would I've been, 33 years of seeing this film that has actually said, I like this movie.
Who doesn't?
No one when I was growing up understood it, liked it, was into it, except for me. And I was obsessed with this film. This is one of my childhood, early teen favorites, which still remains to be.
This was, The Gate was a traumatizing experience for me. I watched it one night when my family had Showtime, because Showtime was like a gate to the awful things I shouldn't be watching. And I was alone one night, and I was sitting there on the floor watching TV, and The Gate came on. And I'm watching it just thinking it's a comedy, because at first it's kind of got this funny vibe, and then the freaking dog dies. And after that, it was no longer funny, but I could not stop watching it because I was absolutely fascinated by it. And so I watched the entire thing, and then I couldn't sleep that entire night because I thought a big demon guy was going to come out of my bedroom and like pick me up by the leg and swing me around and turn me into bad stop motion. This movie's fantastic. Who doesn't like it? Seriously, I want names.
This is a great example of how you make a simple story like compelling to watch. And this movie is compelling when you are watching it because they take this story into like directions that you're not expecting. Even watching it after the 20th time yesterday, there were moments that I had forgotten, and I'm like, what happens now? How does he get out of this now? And it's wonderfully done. And it's, wow, Stephen Dorff, baby Dorff.
Look at the little baby cheeks. I just want to squeeze his little cheeks and just give him an apple. He just looks like a sweet little kid. It's hard to believe that that's the demon blood god from Blade.
Maybe there's a tie in here somehow. Either way, though, talent is talent, right? You see it when sometimes you have child actors, you can see the immense talent they have. Someone like Drew Barrymore or some of those, especially those child actors. You can tell with Stephen Dorff that he had talent. This kid has to carry the whole film. He's the first name that appears up on the screen. Like, he's carrying his own movie at age 9 or 10, and he plays the perfect all-American 10-year-old kid, doesn't he? He encapsulates that 80s suburban white kid.
Yeah, I think that's why I kind of gravitated towards this movie, and I know this sounds completely insane of me to say, but the way that Stephen Dorff looked back then, he looked a lot like I did. And you know how you'd watch a movie whenever you were a kid and you go, I'm that guy, you're that guy. Well, I was that kid. I was the final kid who got to fight the demon. And I don't know, I guess that was the reason why this movie was just one of my favorites and why I just kept coming back to it over and over and over again. Plus, yes, Stephen Dorff was a heck of a child actor. And it's not just that. Krista Denton, his sister, great.
My sister, she's okay. Yep. I like her.
Yeah,
Louis
Tripp is Terry. Fantastic.
He is amazing. Terry is phenomenal character and so important to this movie. Love him.
Yes. And personally, I thought all three of them were great. And I love the way that, despite the fact that it's about a movie that opens the gates of hell and lets demons into a suburban home where children are terrorized and possibly killed, I don't know, it's never really explained, it's still strangely lighthearted. It's got this attitude of, family and wholesomeness behind it. And it's even got this funny little sense of humor. Yeah. And it does not feel jarring when it decides to do that. It's not like cringe Marvel where they're just like, drama, 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 joke, drama, 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 joke. It's just, it's organic and it's just
surgical,
fun to
Jason.
watch.
It's
it
surgical,
is surgical
because they know when to deliver the laughs in that film and then to deliver the tension. It's actually, and that's not common in movies. I don't think people realize it takes a lot of skill to be able to do that. You talk about wholesomeness, absolutely, and that's encapsulated in the scene where she's supposed to go to the beach that night with her friends, but ends up buying the rocket and coming home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, that girl is redeemed. Good for you, big sister.
Such 80s parents though. Yeah, fine. We'll leave a 10-year-old and a 15-year-old home for the weekend. No,
that's fine. It's fine. It's not like a demon's gonna burst through the floor and try to kill everybody. It's fine. Oh my! But the
setup is relatable for that time period too. It's not unusual. And where things that you would expect in this film, like certain tropes to happen, actually don't. And I wanted there's a moment in the party when she throws the party. Now, in every other teen film from that time, she would have lost her mind, everybody get out, or you would have had the demons attack the party. And they don't go that way at all. And I think that's also indicative of so many twists and turns, minor twists and turns in this film, which help build the tension and let you go through this journey of demons.
Yeah.
I just think it's just so smart what they've done with this film.
I swear, I think that the writers of this movie went to a teenage girl's slumber party and just watched them tell scary stories to each other just to see how actual teenagers would react, how they get all hysterical and they all cry because what is her name? AJ, the sister, I think her name was AJ. Her friends at one point are still in the house and they're hiding the whole time whenever all the spooky stuff is going down. And then they find them at the end and they're all I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's just like whenever they do the Hookman story from that's how my sisters would always act. And I'd go outside, I'd turn the fuse off just to make the lights go out. And then I get yelled at, but
they're not afraid to embrace the they're not afraid to embrace the tropes. They're just smart in how they use them. But okay, we've talked about the kid stars of this film. I think the biggest stars in the film are the demons. Is the idea of how they make the demons tiny. That is so smart because it allows you not to get too terrified, and it works visually. I think most of the time they're dudes in rubber suits, right?
I think so, yeah.
Most of the time. We do get some stop animation versions of them. But wow, such a simple demon design. And I'm looking at them going, no, they work. Like, they don't look like aged out to me.
No.
You know, and they're a great idea where the demons are attacking, but they're hesitant. It's just the whole body language of them, the way they try to attack the kids and that. It gets smart.
It really is. I was kind of studying it this time because I know that a lot of that illusion of the demons in the room was made by forced perspective, like they did with the Lord of the Rings, where whenever you see the kids up against the wall and the demons are running around the room, the kids are actually close to the camera and the demons are on a stage further away. And I think that between, like you said, the animalistic behavior of them being hesitant before they attack and the fact that they're sped up just slightly so that they're not quite awkward, but rather they're kind of skittery like insects. And there's a few times where you kind of almost feel bad for them. Like whenever Lewis steps on one of them and it's just like convulsing on the ground, I was like, oh, the poor thing. Well, at least step on it more and put it out of its misery.
You actually see there's a little gag in that because they cut back to it like freaking out. He's actually got the imprint on the sneaker on his stomach.
I didn't see that. I got to rewatch
that. Where Lewis had stepped on him. Which
funny.
Was pretty
That's
great.
Funny.
And it plays into the 80s fears of satanic rituals and kids listening to bad rock and roll
Satanic
music.
panic.
the satanic panic, and it's really great that it kind of deals with that, you know. And you know what? You were talking about how it's like a family film. It's also got a lot of heart because there's one line delivered by the father early on in the film talking about Lewis, talking about his mum dying. You know, Lewis has been struggling, you know, different since his mum died. Mate, again, one line of dialogue, and you instantly are rooting for Lewis. You're supporting him. You're with him. You feel sorry for him. You know, and it's very efficient. I think there's a lot of efficient filmmaking happening in this little horror film. But you talk about the fun. There are so many gloriously light-hearted yet evil. Like this was PG. PG-13. Like, I think
what was wrong with people back then?
I don't know, but there's some genuinely frightening moments. The dude coming out of the wall, scared. I jumped yesterday because I've forgotten about it.
Yep.
Whoa. Which is pretty great.
It's not just the jump scares. There is something viscerally and just deep-seatedly scary about the scene when Stephen Dorff is alone. His sister's been taken, Lewis has been taken, and he's in the house by himself, and there's no musical score. All you hear is the wind whistling through the holes in the house. And he's just wandering through. And the fact that nothing jumps out to get him kind of makes it even scarier because you just expect it to happen any minute, and it never does. And it is almost like they tapped into something primal there. And that, to me, that is still like, and I know some people are going to look at it and go, well, that's not scary. Well, you shut up, because it is. To me, that's one of the scariest scenes ever put to film. Is not Lewis, I'm sorry, I forget the kid's name, Stephen Dorff walking through the house by himself. Dorff. Yeah, Baby Dorff. Baby Dorff. But he
you're right. That is
movie
because
so much.
He has to figure out what to do next. He's out of options at that point in the film too. And a great example of how it builds attention because you don't know what is going to happen out of that. You know? I also love the fact for a lot of the time, the scariest thing about the movie was a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
Because we get those little minions, but that's all we really get for a long time in this film. But there's that threat of there's something else down there that's going to come up. And, you know, when you do that, you need to deliver. And I'm sorry, man, Giant Demon delivers.
They did, yeah.
And totally unexpected design. Kind of against what we usually see coming out of hell in the movies.
Yeah, everything in this movie is done in a very unique way. From the little diminutive minions to the diminutive minions. Wow, that was nice.
To
the gigantic stop motion. I wouldn't even say that it's almost like there's a lack of malevolence to it. It's almost like it just doesn't care. It's just here to mess things up. It's like I'm here to bring darkness to God's kingdom. Oh, hello, Stephen Dorff. I loved you in Salt Lake City Punk. How are you?
I also like, and this is going to go against complete logic, the fact that nobody else in the neighborhood is intervening. I like that. It's a choice. And it works because it helps you get into the situation of isolation that film is trying to build. That it's these three kids against the forces of hell.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a visceral, primal thing. Whenever kids, the most vulnerable of us, are up against something that awful. I mean, that's the reason why the first It movie worked and the second one didn't, in my opinion. Because there's just something so scary, something that we've all experienced whenever we're laying in bed and we hear something in the dark and we look and, you know, our minds start playing with it. We start seeing something moving in the corner and, you know, we can't call for mom because if we call for mom, she's going to be mad. So we were there by ourselves. That's the same feeling. And we've all felt it. And so it touches all of us and it scares all of us. And I think that's why this movie is so fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant the way this movie is put together. More people should love this movie. More people should watch this movie.
The way they it's got great horror camera angles too, like really low mounted cameras looking up, and there's just everything's tightly framed. Like there's not a lot of scope here. Everything's tight, even in the wide shots are tight. And I think that just helps a lot, you know. Yeah, the Dark Book, man. I want that album. Where can I get that vinyl from?
No, maybe you can find it on like Pirate.
Oh yeah, I want the Dark Book.
I don't think anybody would carry that one. Hey, there's an idea for a sequel. Gate 3. Somebody plays that record in a mall, and now the demons are invading a mall in the 1980s. That'd be awesome. There you go. Gate 3. Somebody, whoever owns the rights to the gate, call me.
Well, look, you know, you kind of raise a question there that I am surprised that this didn't receive a 2000s reboot. Like in that period where they were rebooting everything.
It has been there. It's been in the works on and off. I think right now it's either in development hell or it's been just completely,
it's so long. Don't try to do a sequel. Don't try to get in Stephen Dorff into it. Just redo it.
Yeah.
Redo it. Give it a new spin. Like honestly, these are the franchise where you smack your head against the wall with studios because it's like this is built in. You don't have to have the same actors. It can be a different family in a different part of the world. You find a book, open the gates to hell. You know what I mean? So but again, they're dumb. Maybe it does belong that they don't ever remake this film.
I would be happy if they never did. It's perfect the way it is.
It's quaint. It's great. You know, it's you look at it though, and it's got the 80s were different. Look at the size of that kid's backyard.
Mm-hmm. I grew up in backyard like that in the 80s. It was great.
Yeah, not anymore. I don't.
My parents still have it. It's still there.
Yeah. But
I don't have
it. No, I don't have it anymore. But yeah, it's just so iconic 80s. You know what? I thought the only thing that film was missing would have been the shot as they pull out at the end and they're sitting on the step. I just would have had the car pull up, the parents' car pull up, before it cut to black. Just would have had the kids because they got some explaining to do.
I would just like to see the cut to black and you just hear the dad go, "You've been bad."
How do you like? In fact, if you were to follow that story, those kids would have been in so much trouble.
Oh,
probably,
honestly,
ruin their lives.
Honestly, though, how could the parents blame the kids for a giant hole in the middle of the house? Like, I would have walked in, I'd been like, "Oh my God, it's a sinkhole. Thank God the kids are okay." That would have been my thought. Kids, don't tell the cops when they get here that we left you alone for 3 days. Just kind of say, Mom and Dad went to the store and the house. Like,
when it comes to rooms being trashed in this movie, amazing. Like they used the effects, the wind effects in this movie that they were using. They had the big fans going. Oh yeah. And there are shots of the bedroom where it gets destroyed and things that. Bookcases are flying around and all that. And it's so great because it's so effective because it's not just a couple of things. There's like paper, like it just looks like a normal teenager's room, which is chaos anyway, in the air flying around. Yep.
Which is super chaos.
Super chaos. Yeah. And that's the thing when you talk about the effects in this, some of these are pretty groundbreaking. And the one scene that always blew me away and stuck with me first time I saw it is the moment we have one of the dead bodies fall, hit the ground in the room, and then I don't know if it was a morph or it was an optical effect, but they turn into those little minion demons. And I watched that thing back twice yesterday, and I think that might have been early use of some sort of computer effects there because the transition is perfect.
I don't know. We'll have to get corridor crew on it. We'll have to get them
it's perfect. Like it is, right? Like when you watch that moment, it's so advanced for its time. that it kind of works. You know what
Well,
I mean?
either that or that I'm guessing, given the budget for this movie, they probably did some kind of practical thing, and I don't know what they could
Maybe
have
it's just a
done.
great optical effect. I don't
I
know.
I would have to go in and like watch it frame by frame just to see how they come
Yeah.
apart. But yeah, it's a fantastic effect. It really is.
A lot
It's
of
just
the
amazing.
effects are quite good in this,
Yeah.
believe it or not, because a lot of the effects are around like wind machines and like how in that hole they had in the backyard, that's probably goes to a shipping container where you got people in there blowing smoke up the thing, like. There, even in that, even in that like hole, is fantastic because there are times at night that thing's lit up and it's like, got like pink lighting inside it. And you're going, well, that isn't just a foot deep. Because
No.
having to project smoke and stuff out of that no matter what, like a lot of work went into that effects. And I think this movie was budgeted $6 million, and you see every one of those dollars on the screen. It's one of those movies.
And then some.
Which we love. Yeah, and then some. Yeah, yeah, phenomenal stuff in regards to that. It is a perfect 80s movies in the sense that 85 minutes in, out, trim the fat. We got our story. We don't need to see any other scene past the fact that they collapse on the front step at the end of it,
Yep.
And the start of it as well. Like they avoid a lot of the normal exposition we would get in a film of that period with teenagers. Do we even go to the school? We don't go to their school, right? Nope. We don't bother with any of that.
I think that we only have a few locations.
Yep.
And the kids don't even go to them. It's just like the AJ's friends go to them. Mostly whenever they're trying to figure out what to do with the dog.
Exactly. So absolutely phenomenal. A film that, you know what, Jason, a lot of people haven't seen. This is a film we get to talk about this week.
You need to fix that now. It's on Tubi and it's free.
Brilliant. It's great. It's great. And it is on it's on Tubi, which is wonderful as well. You got to check it out for sure. And I would love to hear what people think of it who haven't seen it before and watching it. I don't know if there's a bit of inbuilt bias, but I'm watching it yesterday, Jason, going, this still remains fresh.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and it just hasn't aged out. It fits in its time period without going too crazy about it. It's just a reminder that if you got a great story, you don't need to spend tens of millions of dollars to make a really great movie.
Yep.
And it was a moderate success when it came out. It ended up making 13.5 million, which is over double its budget. So it would have been considered a moderate, a hit enough at the cinema for them to, but it's really became big on video. That thing became a massive hit on video, and it was its video sales that actually got us to Gate 2. So, interesting stuff.
You have not seen The Gate 2. You were telling me.
No, I have not. I was just saying before. I just missed it at that time. I knew it wasn't that well loved at the time, and I got precious about The Gate.
It's got some interesting ideas. I just don't think it executed them very well. And you could definitely tell that the same creative team were not behind it because it's just got a completely different tone, a completely different everything. I mean, it's an interesting take on a sequel. I'm going to say that. It's one of those things where you go sometimes like, oh, why did they do that? That's weird. But this time it's like, okay. Well, this is different. It's not what I was expecting, but let's see where this goes. And it's got it goes some places where you like, it goes a lot of places you don't.
Well, this went all the right places, this one.
It did,
the first
yes.
one. Even that moment, I forgot when they throw I love the bit they throw the Bible into the hole. And just fire shoots out of that thing.
Oh my God.
Right. All practical again. All practical. There wasn't some post-added fire in that. So
no, if you burned a kid back then, it's just part of the job.
The safety, like there wasn't a lot of safety, but it made for better entertainment, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
No, this is a highly recommend for both of us. This is a wonderful film. It's a short film. There's a lot of fun to be had. And it, like I said, I believe wholly and solely, if you haven't seen it before, you'll watch the film and go, well, I wasn't expecting that. It takes you on a journey, on a pathway that you probably haven't seen before. Things are going to be familiar. Young kids, demons. Yeah, we've seen films like that before. But nothing else particularly like this. The way they execute this makes this movie super unique.
I agree. As I said, I think it taps into something primally scary that we've all experienced before. It shows us a lot of things we've never seen, thus making them more disturbing and more scary and more mysterious. And there's no wasted scenes. There's no bad characters. I mean, yeah, you got a few supporting characters, but they don't matter in the long run. It's just those 3 core characters are all you need. And, I'm going to say a little bit more right here. If you got kids who want to get into horror movies, this is a good movie to show them because it's not, I mean, it's got some gross bits in it, but there's no blood, there's no viscera.
There's no blood. Yeah.
There's really not a whole lot of cursing either. There's not even a death count. If you really think about it, there's not. Even though there is, but there's not.
Yeah,
but there is, but there's not.
There's not. So
that's another thing that scared me about this movie whenever I first watched it, was because I was in that age where I thought kids were immortal, and then they get Lewis, and I'm just like, oh no.
And then what they do to Lewis in the closet?
Yeah.
With the Barbie doll, which is
oh my god, yes,
great,
yes,
which is a lot of
everybody's
fun.
watching this going. Everybody's watching this going, did they do something naughty with the Barbie doll?
No. They do.
They shoved it into an orifice. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely it does. But yeah, that's probably the grossest part out of the entire film. But it's
the part where he grabs his fake dad by the face, and like the face collapses, and you got all this like pudding that comes out. That one's pretty nasty too.
It's the fact that it's like they've made a kids film, but 20% adult. In the way it's owned, maybe even 30%. Because
it's like
it
adult
feels like
Goosebumps, but not like the one Disney did. It's actually good.
It's like good Goosebumps.
Yeah, it's like good Goosebumps.
Yeah, 100%. And even there, I don't think we're giving it enough credit. It's a great film. Check it out, please. All right.
Plus, baby Stephen Dorff is so freaking cute.
And the kid's got a lot of talent. I was so impressed that he carried that whole film. And you want to talk about a talent. The scene that you are terrified by, it's all on him to pull that scene off.
It is. I mean, it's got Stephen Dorff by himself for a good 5 to 10 minutes. I don't know, somewhere in that range. And you never get bored. You're like at the edge of your seat watching this poor kid just wander through his house, not knowing what to do and being subjected to these unspeakably evil things that keep coming into his home. It's just, kudos to you, Stephen Dorff. You were a talent back then. You're a talent today.
Fantastic. All right. Now, we've done this one. We are starting in the next VHS Vault. To remind everybody, we continue in our Superman retrospective series with Justice League, as Jason has labeled it. Yes, the first Justice League, the 2017 version. We'll be talking about that with our very special guest, Joe Dove from the Captain's Quadrant, will be joining us for these next 2 films as we
break. He can't wait. He loves this movie.
Let's see if we can salvage something good from these films. Like, I would like to, I think they have moments, but we'll have to talk about that as we go along.
I think, honestly, Justice League has some of my favorite Henry Cavill moments in it. And I know a lot of people are like, what? It does. It does. Not the ones you think. Not shirtless Cavill being all statuesque, like grabbing all the Justice League by the neck. I'm talking like this very, very playful moments with Superman. Because I'm just like, that's it. That is Superman right there.
We just don't get
enough of it. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I do.
Well, are you giving away that you like Justice League?
No. I like some of the Superman scenes. The rest of the movie is, we'll just talk about it whenever we get there. How about that?
There's one character I think who comes off pretty well in the film, but we'll talk about that with Joe coming up after that, after the Justice League, Jason, what are we jumping into before we do the Snyder Cut?
Well, we have had so many people saying, why aren't you doing more animation? And so I thought, you want animation? I'm going to pull the most obscure, weirdest animation that you have never seen before out of the ether. And that is why I have found a movie that I came across years ago and then kind of forgot about, and then I was reminded of, and then I found it and I watched it again, and I thought, you know what? This needs to be on VHS Vault. It is called Rockin' Rule, and it's a story about humanoid rats creating a song that could destroy the world. And Mick Jagger is the villain. It's fantastic.
I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. I don't know nothing about it. So I'm very interested to see this film and what
it is an interesting movie, but it is deeply, deeply flawed.
Oh, well,
flawed.
I look forward to picking it apart then. All right. Well, so that's what's coming up. There's a lot more coming up. Guys, remember to send in your recommendations and all that. Jason's just about to tell you how to do it.
Yes, to send in a recommendation, all you got to do is go to our page. Listed down below in the video description, you will see a link to our Patreon. Please join our Patreon, and you giving us a small pittance of about $5 a month or more if you are a manly man or a very, very beautiful lady. You can basically give us recommendations. We just had a new one, and we're looking at seeing where we're going to slot it in because we thought, oh, you know what? That's a great recommendation, but we can't do just one of them. We have to do all of them. So we're trying to figure out where to fit in all 4 of them. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'll tell you whenever it happens. But I know that the guy who recommended them is sitting at home right now going, oh my God, they're talking about me. We are talking about you.
You know why? Because you're more important than we are. So your recommendations.
Exactly. We just a couple of hoes who want some money. So give us some money. Go down to the video description below and give us a pittance. You can also become a YouTube channel member. It's the same thing. You give us a little bit of money. You can make recommendations. You also get our videos early. Like this one right here. We're recording this one on April 28th. As soon as I edit this thing and put it up, the Patreons and the YouTube channel members get it right then.
Yeah. Absolutely they do. Brilliant stuff. All right. Well, in that case, guys, we'll see you next time on the VHS Vault.